Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. So in today's video I have another look using the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. So I used this a couple of videos ago and a lot of you were saying you wanted me to create more looks using this palette. So here I am today using more of the purple tones, which is definitely out of my comfort zone. But yeah, I always love purple. I never go to purple, but every time I use it I really love it. So I hope you guys like it as well. Let me know if you want me to use any of the other colours in this palette, because I'll definitely be... Sorry, I'm talking too fast. I'll definitely be creating more looks because it is my go-to palette at the moment. So I'm happy to create more looks for you. So let me know in the comments down below if you've got any requests. So give this video a thumbs up if you do like this look. Please subscribe if you are new here. Also let me know what you thought in the comments down below. So if you do want to see how we've got this look right here, then just keep on watching. Really bugging me. Stop. Okay, so I'm just going to start with a little bit of foundation, just because I feel like when I'm doing my eyes first and I've got no eyeshadow on, I feel like it looks like shit. So I just like to have like a very light layer. But yeah, you can just do your eyes first. It's completely up to you. So for foundation, I'm just going in with my normal MAC Studio Fix fluid. So that's all I'm going to do for now, just a very light layer of foundation. So now I'm going to move on to the eyes. Then to prime my eyes, I'm going in with MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot and just using that with my finger all over the eyelid. So I definitely recommend using a primer before eyeshadow, as it will just stop any oil coming through. If your eyes do get oily, then it will move the eyeshadow and it will start to crease. So this is why you want to prime beforehand. Next, going in with my translucent powder by Mercier. I'm just going to use that all over my eyelid to set that base in place. So this is just going to set it down and prevent it from being tacky. So when you go in with your next eyeshadows, they're nice and smooth. So just pat that right up to the brow bone. So I'm just going to go do my eyebrows off camera just because it's pretty boring and it's the same thing that I do. I do have a tutorial down below, so I'll link that in the description box. Okay, so I've just done my eyebrows, as you can see. So the palette that I'm using today is the Jaclyn Hill palette. So as I said previously, I was going to create more looks with this palette. So the first shade I'm going to go in with is this one here, which is called MEEO, I think. Can't remember what that stands for. So I'm going to buff that through the crease using my Morphe M441 brush. So I'm just following my natural crease and slightly above, just in circular motions, all the way across. So this is mainly just going to help my darker colours blend that a little bit easier later on, so you've got a nice gradient running through the crease. So next, using the shade Butter, which is this one here, I'm going to pop that slightly lower in my crease, and I'm going to use a slightly smaller brush. So this is the MAC 221 brush. You can see it's still quite fluffy, but then it's obviously a little bit smaller, so I can be a little bit more precise. And I'm just popping that through my natural crease again. But obviously, because I'm using a slightly smaller brush, I can get a little bit more of a precise application. And I'm just bringing that colour out slightly, because I do want this look to be slightly winged out. So just follow my crease and almost flicking my brush outwards, just to map out my shape, and then going back in with my first brush. Okay, so now that we've kind of got our base down, I can start to build up the intensity a little bit more, because I kind of just mapped out the shape that I want. So next I'm going to go in with the shade Buns, which is this one here, and I'm going to use that on the same 221 brush and start to work that in the outer corner of my eye. And then whatever's left on your brush, you can start to blend it upwards and then slightly through the crease. So I wanted it to be a little bit more like a plummy purple. It was starting to look a little bit too cool tone and a bit dull. So I just went on top of that bun shade with the shade Jax, which is this one here. But I just want it to be almost just a little bit more of like a plummy burgundy purple, if that makes sense. So just using that on the same brush and just buffing that or blending that on the outer corner. So wherever you put your brush first is going to be the most intense. And then obviously slightly out towards the brow. Okay, so like I said, I do want to make it super dark and dramatic. So I'm now going to go in with the shade Soda Pop from the palette, which is the second to darkest shade, which is this one right here. And again, starting slightly lower, I'm going to tap that on the outer corner. Because you'll find with like really dark matte shades, especially like black and dark purple, the more you blend them, obviously the further they will blend and the kind of further they will travel. So that's why you always want to start really low, because as you start to move, it will start to kind of go slightly higher as well. And I'm doing this with my eyes open as well, so that way I can kind of see where it is when my eye is looking straight ahead. So I'm just going to go back in with my 217. So I'm literally dabbing the tiniest amount on the end of my brush into that Jax, that's so hard to say, into that Jax shade, and I'm going to run that along those edges just to soften them slightly. And I'm hardly touching my skin. I'm just doing it very lightly. So I'm just going to kind of go up towards my brow, then along my crease. So that way it's kind of flowing nicely. And don't worry about it getting like slightly underneath the eye, because that will help you later on when you want to connect it underneath. Because I personally don't like it when it's really sharp right at the end of the eye and then it's really smoky here, so it kind of is disjointed. So you want it to like flow all the way around the eye no matter what shape you're doing. But like I've done that before and it's just from personal experience, it doesn't really suit my eye. But yeah, do you. Okay, so I'm not doing like a proper cut crease. I'm going to use a bit of concealer to kind of map out where I want my lighter colour. But I've just started doing that recently because I feel like it makes the inner corner or the inner half of your eye just stand out that little bit more. And I feel like it just creates something a little bit extra to the look, but you do not have to do this step. You can just go straight in with your eyeshadow. I'm just going to use my concealer as a base and follow the natural crease of my eye using MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15. And my favourite brush for that is the 228 brush by MAC. So it's really tiny and nice and curved, so it helps you get right into that crease area. So I'm just going to follow the natural shape and slightly above as well. Then once I haven't really got anything left on my brush, I'm just going to blend that in to the eyeshadow. So I'm kind of just doing like tapping motions to blend the two together. So for the inner part of my eye, I'm going to go in with the shade Obsessed and then kind of mix that and go over the top with the shade SBN. So I'm going to use that on the same brush and just carve that into the same area where I put the concealer. Then I'm just going to kind of blend the two together and pop that on top. So very similar to my other look where I'm kind of blending the shades together, so it's kind of like a gradient going all the way across. So on the inner part of the eye, I'm going to use the shade Meeks. And then to blend into the purple, I'm going to go in with the shade Cran Apple. So I kind of just prefer the gold on the inner corner, so I'm going to kind of cover that Obsessed shade up, so you don't have to do that, but I kind of ended up not loving it. So I'm just going to go in with the shade Queen. I'm just going to carve that onto the inner corner. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this eyes. You know when like it's that bit where obviously you haven't got any foundation on and it kind of looks like shit, but you just got to persevere with it. So I'm going to use a darker foundation because I've got tan on and I know it's going to develop more, and these lights really wash me out. So for concealer, I'm going to use my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, I can't remember the name then, and I'm using that in the shade NC30, just to highlight and to also add a little bit of coverage underneath my eyes and down my nose. So I'm just blending that out with the same sponge. So for powder, I'm going to go back in with my Laura Mercier powder, and I'm just going to lightly set my base. So I'm just dabbing that all over, so you just want to dab it so you don't disturb any of the coverage. So for bronzer, I'm going to use my MAC Dark Golden Mineralized Skin Finish, as always, on my Morphe R2 brush. So I'm just going to finish off this skin before I go back to the eyes. When I've got purple tones on the eyes, I love to use Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal, because it's got that nice kind of cool undertone. And I'm using that on a 134 Luxe Powder Fusion brush by Zoeva. So I'm going to go back in with that shade called Pope Soda Pop, and on a MAC 212 brush, I'm going to literally press that in to my lower lash line and kind of connect it from where I had that shape earlier on. So then going in with the shade Jax, and I'm using my pencil brush by Zoeva. It's the Luxe pencil brush, and I'm literally going to buff that right underneath the eye. So right where that purple shade stops, I'm going to run that underneath so it's nice and smoky. And just ensure that it will connect to the outer corner. Then I'm just going to go in with a MAC 224 and a little bit of the, I think this is called Creamsicle, I could be wrong, and I'm literally just going to run that underneath to soften any harsh lines. And then again connect it to the outer corner. So for my inner corner highlight, I'm going to go in with the shade Faint in the palette. It's a nice like kind of pinky and it's got a nice pinky undertone, sorry, so I feel like it ties quite nicely with the purple tones. So for my brow bone highlight, I'm going to go in with Becca Opal highlighter to kind of tie in with my cheeks, and then over the top of that I'm going to use the shade N Light from the same Jaclyn Hill palette. Then just before I put any lashes on, I'm just going to fix that in place with the Revolution Pro Fix Amazing Fixing Spray. Literally smells like arsehole. So just let the glue get a little bit tacky. And then just use my tweezers for the inner corner. And just whilst that dries a little bit, just going to do the other eye. It's just a little bit easier to apply them when it's a bit more tacky. So for the nude option, I've gone with Blank Tea lipstick by MAC. So this is kind of like a really nice cool tone nude pink. Okay, so that is pretty much the look finished. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. So I really hope you liked this look. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And yeah, let me know if you've got any other video requests. Also, I want to know if you prefer like a voiceover or just a talk through video, because I'll do a bit of both. It's easier to obviously film a talk through, but I find that I ramble too much. Don't think I rambled that much in this one. I think I just spoke about makeup. But yeah, let me know what you think. Please subscribe if you are new here. So that's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and you'll see me in my next one. Bye!